Day 52 on the Florida Trail. It's a nippy one. It's in the 40s this morning, and it's only supposed to get into the 50s. And it's an overcast day. So the sunshine state is not so sunny today. But like I've said in the past, I like the cool weather. I love hiking in the coolness, so I'm not complaining. I'm just giving a weather report. Still in Umatilla National Forest. It's nice and thick in here right now. Got some palm trees happening here. That's not that common actually. So pretty cool. Oh my. This is unusual too for Ocala. Awesome. We went to the Umatilla Seventh-day Adventist Church yesterday, and it's another church I can recommend. It's a happening church. They have a food distribution on Sunday mornings from 10 to 1. So if you're in need of food, you can go there. And the pastor is really great. Plus, he's a fellow Canadian, so we hit it off. And he advertised my YouTube channel up front and told everybody what I was doing. So that was pretty special of him to do that. It was a really nice day. When Moses was 40 years old, after being trained as an Egyptian prince, he went out to his brethren and looked at their burdens. You may recall that the Hebrews in Egypt were being treated as slaves, and the Egyptians were being very cruel. Moses had an idea that his situation was so unique that God must be preparing him to rescue the Hebrews. He went to the land of Goshen where they lived to study the situation and start laying plans. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, and the text says one of his brethren. So you can see that he had sincere love for his people and related to them when he called them his brethren, even though he didn't have anything to do with them for almost 30 years. So Moses looked this way and that way, and when he didn't see anybody, he killed the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. Well, speaking of sand, here is a very sandy road, but I don't have to go on it. It's interesting to note that the word killed is the same as the word struck. This highlights Moses' tendency to strike on his own. Those of you that know his story will get what I mean. Those of you who are just learning about his story, it will be revealed in later hikes. Well, when he went out the second day, he saw 2 Hebrew men fighting, and he said to the one in the wrong, "Why are you striking your companion?" Then he said, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you did the Egyptian?" Oh no, people knew what he had done. And then Pharaoh heard about it, and he sought to kill him. Moses' deed was correctly interpreted at court as open defiance of Egypt, and it was surmised that he proposed to seat himself on the throne. This is a bit of different landscape. Open yet shrubby. The fate of the nation was clearly at stake, and Moses was therefore condemned to die. Historically, his foster mother, Hatshepsut, they logically think that this was about this time of Moses, but not 100% sure. But anyway, she suddenly disappeared from history, and so scholars deduce that it may have been because of her known support of Moses. It's interesting how you can put pieces of the puzzle together from archaeology and the Bible. Little bit of different terrain coming up. Some lakes out there. So this is called Ocala Pond, and there are some birds out there, but not a lot. It's a pretty cold day, I think, for them. I don't know. I'm passing by lots of ponds in this section. At any rate, Moses fled and landed in the land of Midian. Archaeology shows that his flight must not have been an easy one, because back then the eastern border of Egypt was guarded by the Mediterranean Sea and the Gulf of Suez by a system of manned towers, each one in sight of the other. Even though there is no record of his flight, we can assume that it was a trying experience for him, because he was used to the luxuries of court life and unacquainted with hardship. Okay, this is a big lake system, and it's called Farles Lake. The eye can't even see all of it from here. Another view of it. What's this all about? Wow. Coming up on some civilization. Buck Lake. Now, this is the part people warned me about, that there could be some interesting people around here. I guess they're called rainbow people, and they just camp out here all year long. So I guess we'll see if there's anything happening. They said to be careful, but I'm not scared. Well, Buck Lake turned out to be a non-incident because the trail didn't even go by it. It was a blue blaze down to get to it, and I never took it. So it was all just fine. And I'm so happy that the sun is breaking through now. Well, after getting to Midian, Moses found a well and sat down by it. And shortly thereafter, the priest of Midian, he had 7 daughters, and they all came to water their father's flock at this well. Lovely big tree. Now, the Midianites were descendants of Abraham by his wife Keturah, the woman that he married after Sarah died. So they were probably worshipers of the true God. If you will remember, this is not the first story in the Bible in which women are found pasturing the flocks of their father. Well, some mean shepherds came along and drove them all away. But Moses stood up and helped the girls and helped water their flocks. When his daughters came back, he said, "How is it that you have come back so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds and even drew water for us." Then the father said, "Where is he? Why did you leave him behind? Go and call him to come for supper." That priest must have been a follower of God, since he treated Moses so well, and because Moses lived with him even. And he gave one of his daughters, Zipporah, to be his wife. In due time they had a son, and Moses named him Gershon, which means banishment, or to thrust away, because Moses said, "I have been a stranger in a foreign land." He's getting a taste of what the Israelites were feeling, strangers in the foreign land of Egypt. Moses is now living in exile, and in naming his son, he was giving expression to his loneliness and humiliation. Once again, time passes on. A former prince of the most powerful royal house of that time was passing his days as a shepherd. He exchanged his palace for a tent, the luxuries of Egypt for the desert life of Sinai, his host of attendants and his army for a flock of sheep and goats. What a change. Yet 40 years spent in the wide spaces of the desert made of him the kind of man that God could use in the deliverance of his people from Egypt. During these years, Moses learned lessons essential to him as the leader of a rebellious nation. The qualities Moses developed during his long years of desert life, alone with God and nature, were priceless and well worth the long solitude and humiliation required to gain them. His later history shows that those years had not been lost, and that he had been a diligent student under the tutorship of God, and he graduated from his course with honors. As God allowed Moses to go through a time of solitude, bewilderment at times, and humbling, so maybe you are going through a strange, difficult time, totally out of your normal. But could it be that God is preparing you to do something great for him? Maybe you can take courage about the trials and tribulations you are going through. Use it as a means to get closer to and more in tune with Jesus, and he will make it all make sense one day. Hold fast, my friend. You can tell the shadows are getting longer, so I'm coming to the end of my day. 16.1 miles today. Very happy. Now, what is preventing you from giving your life to Jesus? Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.